What is up, Ninja Nation? Welcome back to another Pitching Ninja's Filthiest Pitches of the Day, the best daily podcast on YouTube dedicated to pitching. We're trying to get Ninja Nation to 100,000 subscribers, so hit that subscribe button. And without further ado, here are my filthiest pitches from yesterday. I'm going to start with Aaron Nola, who didn't have a great outing yesterday, but check out these pretty front door and back door two-seamers and his wiffle ball changeup. Just elite movement. Here's a filthy slider from Max Scherzer, and look at this overlay of his 95-mile-an-hour fastball and an 85-mile-an-hour changeup, and you can see what makes his changeup such a weapon. Of all starting pitchers, his changeup is one of my favorites. Logan Webb was filthy as usual, and look at this sinker that ran 20 inches, and then his nasty changeups and sliders. And this overlay shows how well his sinker and slider work together. They both start off the plate, and then the sinker catches the plate while the slider dips away. I feel like I usually highlight Nasty Nate's splitter or his fastball, but look at these hammer curveballs. Just disgusting. I love Nick Lodolo's sweeper or slider. Look at the movement on these pitches. This one ends up behind Mercado. That is amazing. Frankie Montas had 6 Ks, and look at his splitter move. He definitely has one of the more unhittable splitters in the game. And check out this splitter from Felix Bautista. The thing just drops off the table. Jose Barrios had his blitzball curveball working, and threw this wicked changeup. He did give up a couple home runs, but that doesn't make his stuff any less filthy. And look at this fastball and breaking ball overlay. You can see what makes hitting so hard. Speaking of amazing overlays, here's one from Kyle Crick. His sinker moves 17 inches arm side, and the slider moves 21 inches glove side. And when you combine them, well, it's a nightmare. I love Triston McKenzie's curveball, and he's got a wicked slider too. And I thought I'd share this conversation I had with one of my followers who said, I don't see McKenzie's slider moving that much. This is why I use overlays so much, because when you overlay a slider with his fastball, you can see that movement and see what makes that slider so hard to hit. Overlays are one of my favorite ways to explain the beauty of pitching. Now back to some more pitches. Here's Jose Alvarado's 100-mile-an-hour bowling ball sinker. I can't imagine what your hands would feel like if you made contact. Will Crowe got his first career save for the Pirates yesterday. Check out post-game him wearing a Pitching Ninja t-shirt. That it, boy, Will. Corbin Burnes looked like his normal Cy Young self with his wicked cutters and nasty curveballs, and his curveball's way underrated. Opponents hit .069 against it last year. Nice. And whiffed nearly 50% of the time they swung at it. This overlay shows how filthy Burnes' stuff is. This is a 97-mile-an-hour two-seamer and a 95-mile-an-hour cutter. Look at that two-seamer just veer off arm side. Good freaking luck. Burnes is a nightmare. But my filthiest pitcher of the day and filthiest pitch of the day is Clayton Kershaw. I mean, his slider was absolutely unhittable yesterday. It was so unhittable that he threw a perfect game through 7 innings. He had an amazing 63% whiff rate on this slider. And you can see from these overlays what makes it so hard to hit. He repeats his mechanics perfectly, and his slider looks just like his fastball coming out of his hand. And I thought this graphic does a good job of explaining how hard it is to pick up Clayton's slider. As a hitter, the only clue you get is a slight turn of his hand. Otherwise, it's identical with his fastball. And of course, I can't leave out Clayton Kershaw's Cooperstown curveball. Look how pretty this is. It deserves a whole wing in the Hall of Fame, just dedicated to it. I mentioned Kershaw threw 7 perfect innings, and the debate after the game, and maybe throughout history, will be, should Roberts have pulled Kershaw or let him try to finish his perfect game? You can see Kershaw didn't look too upset after he got pulled, giving everybody high fives. And post-game, he had this to say.
But at the end of the day, those are individual things. Those are selfish goals, and we're trying to win, and that's really all we're here for. And as much as I would have wanted to do it, I've thrown 75 pitches in a sim game, and I hadn't gone 6 innings, let alone 7. And sure, I would have loved to do it, but maybe we get another chance. Who knows?
My personal view has a lot to do with the pitcher. This isn't the case of protecting a young pitcher's arm, but Kershaw again has been injured. I feel like if Kershaw felt like he needed this to cap off his career, or if it was one of his career goals, he's earned the right to fight to stay in the game. Lord knows Max Scherzer would have bitten my head off if I pulled him. In the end, Kershaw didn't react that strongly to being pulled and said it was the right decision after the game, so I'm going to go with that. But damn, as a pitching guy and a fan of Clayton Kershaw, I would have loved to have seen a perfect game. After all, Hall of Famer Randy Johnson called his perfect game the highlight of his career.
I guess it was more about how my dad raised me and taught me to not ever be content on what you were doing, because there's always somebody better than you doing it. And how do you know how good you can be until you stop doing it? And I really took that to heart, because now when I've stepped away from the game, I can answer a question. Well, what was your best game? What was your best performance? Well, it would be the perfect game. I was perfect. But leading up to that, I don't know. I would have to really look into that.
Now on to Pitching Ninja moment of zen. Pitch calm, tired. Caratini calm, wired. Hey Victor, I think I've stolen your signs.